Hi, today I will talk about the characteristics of Quentin Tarantino's directional style and cinematography. Quentin Tarantino is arguably one of the most famous directors in Hollywood history. He has written and created many award-winning films in his career over the years. Although he has only directed 9 films, each of his films is always highly anticipated and praised for his style of directing. Throughout his career, he has made quality films and has been praised for his passion for spaghetti westerns, with many films carrying aspects of the genre. Most of his films, like Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown, incorporate his signature aesthetic of violence and long dialogue sequences in detail, which has slowly become a way Tarantino prefers to connect to the audience. Today, I have chosen to analyze 2 scenes from Tarantino's 2009 film, Inglourious Basterds. The film takes us to Nazi-occupied France while having separate storylines that join towards the end. We get to see a group of Jewish soldiers and a young Jewish woman, Shoshana, both planning to bring down the Nazi government and put an end to the war. I will first be analyzing the opening scene where Colonel Landa visits the Lapadite household to question the whereabouts of a Jewish family. We first see an establishing shot of domestic life in the Lapadite household. The clothing line was put into the scene, acting as a revealing curtain shot for the Nazis arriving at the household, which symbolizes their stable domestic life being disrupted by the Nazis. In this shot, we see the first time Tarantino taking conventions from the spaghetti western genre, with the villain's arrival on the horizon. As the scene goes on, one could say that the Nazi colonel was uncomfortably polite once he was in Lapadite's home. Tarantino portrayed the character in this way to make the audience uncomfortable while showing how the family reacts. Once Landa brings up more and more information about the Jew family, Tarantino uses a close-up shot on Lapadite. This allows the audience to see Lapadite's reaction to Landa's questions. Lapadite shows confidence, but we also see his inner fears as he tries to lie his way out of the situation.
Rumors, true or false, are often revealing. So, Monsieur Lapadite, what rumors have you heard regarding the Dreyfuses?
Again, this is just a rumor, but we heard the Dreyfuses had made their way into Spain.
On the other hand, when the close-ups are on Landa, the audience get insight into Landa's inner evil and intentions through his facial expressions. His power in the house can be seen symbolizing the power of the Nazis while they were occupying France during the war.
I can think like a Jew, where they can only think like a German. More precisely, a German soldier.
Until this shot, Tarantino reveals where the Jew family had been hiding all along. This builds up dramatic tension and suspense, which Tarantino is great at as the audience now understands what's at stake for both families. Overall, the scene reminds audiences of how during World War II, the Nazis have disrupted a lot of lives and people's mental health. As the Nazis could persecute anyone in their way, especially Jews, people lived in fear with a person like Hans Landa existing in society. Many scenes similar to this one shows how Nazis were the oppressors, which resembled the Anglo-Americans who oppressed the Indians into giving up their land, linking back to the spaghetti western genre. The long opening scene also sums up how Tarantino uses dialogue and long extensive sequences to build suspense, as he argues that
the suspense is a rubber band, and I'm just stretching it and stretching it and stretching and see how far it can stretch. As long as that rubber band can stretch, the longer the scene can hold, the more suspenseful it is. That scene is more suspenseful at 22 minutes than would be at 8. So you want to just stretch it until the rubber band breaks.
And this happens precisely when Tarantino shows the bomb under the floorboards, revealing that the Lapadite family has been providing sanctuary for the Jewish family all along. And this heightens the tension and suspense as Tarantino stretches the rubber band even further. The same technique is then used in the tavern sequence, as the sequence is a scene where Tarantino uses dialogue and sound to build suspense. In this scene, the tavern also reminds the audience of a western saloon, linking back to the spaghetti western genre. Similar to the opening scene, Tarantino uses the silence in the pub and their exchange of in-depth dialogue to create tension. In their exchange, Lieutenant Hickox is trying to blend in and deceive a Gestapo officer who grew very suspicious of his German accent. However, Hickox succeeds in socializing with the officer and making him believe he's a German soldier as well. But just as the audience sees Hickox seemingly might get away with it, he gives himself away.
3 Gläser.
What follows is almost a minute of silence with no dialogue but the diegetic sounds surrounding the two. Even though not everyone in the audience may know about the right way to count in German, Tarantino used the over-the-shoulder shot from behind Hickox, which shows the Major's facial expressions and reactions. This shows that even if we don't know how the lieutenant had given himself away, we immediately realized that he was onto him and knew for a fact that Hickox was not a true German. The expressions of the characters knowing that things have gone wrong, with numerous close-up shots while diegetic sounds play further heightens the suspense while the conflict between the officer and Hickox develops. The sequence resembled a Western cowboy standoff between the undercover allies and the Nazi officer. The awkward actions and the intense negotiations eventually lead to
Dann sind wir zu zweit. Ich habe eine Pistole auf Ihre Eier gerichtet, seit Sie hier sitzen.
Eventually, a fast-paced, merciless Western shootout breaks out between the crew and the Nazi soldiers in the bar. Tarantino yet again takes conventions from the spaghetti western genre and puts them into World War II iconography. By creating a war film subverted into the spaghetti western genre, Tarantino puts the audience in a particularly noteworthy perspective. Overall, from the two scenes I analyzed in Inglourious Basterds, Tarantino explores the limits of suspense and the ideas of genocide and racial hatred with help from certain aspects from the spaghetti western genre. Creating a genre-subverted film with the spaghetti western genre helped establish a distinct style for the film as it delves into the oppressing relationship between Nazis and Jews. This symbolizes the same oppressing relationship between Indians and Anglo-Americans, while also adding Western-styled soundtracks into a World War II iconography. In summary, with brilliant film writing and camera work, Tarantino created a masterpiece that gives the audience a great deal of fun, while also putting the audience in different perspectives, which enables them to reflect on our past and the morals revolving around racial hatred in our society.
You know something, you rich? I think this just might be my masterpiece.